I have spent the best Christmas of my life since I got married, and it's making my husband panicking. I am 5 months pregnant. When I found out about my pregnancy, my husband's nephew punched me hard in my stomach. Sister-in-law said it was a phase, but then Christmas came and mother-in-law called to say the phase was still going on, and since they didn't want accidents that I should stay home this time. My husband, to my surprise, started packing on the 21st. "Oh, you wanted me to stay?" he said, correctly misinterpreting my facial expression. I stood silent and then said no. "You can go." He smiled sheepishly. My work colleague, unmarried older lady, suggested we could do something together, and I spent Christmas with her. I don't remember the last time I was this happy during the holidays. I don't have a family, and my husband's was the only one I knew, and for the last 15 years, I have endured my passive-aggressive alcoholic father-in-law, pretentious mother-in-law, and golden child sister-in-law who peaked in high school and married the jock. I slept in, stayed in, and ate whatever I wanted without anyone commenting on my body. No rants about how some minorities ruined it for the rest, but of course you are one of the good ones, and the latest, I don't think your baby will have blue eyes like I really cared or didn't under basic biology. Having to wake up 7 a.m., and if you literally missed meal hours you needed to wait for next meal because it is disrespectful not to be on time. Being forced to cook weird food from my home country so they can sniff and wrinkle their noses and call it interesting. Most of all, I didn't have my husband by my side being anxious the entire stay, not wanting to rock the boat, trying to soften blows and explain that they really didn't mean any of it. When he got home, he was as anxious, and me being very happy, as opposed to the usual crying all the way home from his parents, made him even more anxious. I told him that I was fine and that I had a great time. He was panicking. He apologized and said that in hindsight maybe he should have stayed home with me instead, but then he would not have celebrated Christmas with his family, and they would definitely have been disappointed. I said nothing, just looked at his anxious face, probably with a frown that made him even more anxious. "Everything is fine," I said again. Now I guess I understand why he is panicking, because why have I let this go on for this long? My colleague is also a lonely woman with no family, but she is so much happier than I have been in many, many years. I have been thinking about this newfound freedom in loneliness since Christmas, and I guess my husband is sensing it. Ada, this is a throwaway BTW before you call me AI. Sounds like you got that taste of freedom, and husband is panicking because he knows you'll probably leave and will absolutely be better off without him and his toxic family. The kid is punching pregnant woman? Stop going altogether, cause your baby will get hit, and they won't do anything. My brother-in-law got what he deserved being cheap with kids shoveling his driveway. My wife's sister and her husband have a long driveway, I'd guess almost 200 single car wide. Then it opens up to their 3-car side garage. So that adds another rectangle close to 30 feet by 40 feet. Yesterday morning it hadn't been shoveled, so some kids, around 12 years old, from school came and asked if they wanted it shoveled. He asked how much, and they, having no idea how much to charge or how long it would take, just said, "We'll get started and just pay us what you feel is fair at the end." Now I want to take a minute to say my own dad used to tell me to say the exact same thing in these situations. At 13 I used to cut lawns in my neighborhood using his old push mower with a 2 gallons gas can bungee corded to the handle. I always said to neighbors that exact same line, and the people always paid me more than had I just said, "Give me XX please." Anyway, 3 boys, around 6 hours to hand shovel this large driveway, including the long walk/front steps to the front door and the path to the back door behind the garage. They finished around 4 p.m. Go to the front door exhausted, and he pays them. Wait for it. $30. A $10 for each kid, for 6 hours of manual labor where we got over 2 foot of snow. My sister-in-law sent our group family text a picture of them all finished saying how nice it is kids are hustling like the old days and how they did a beautiful job, her words. We found out after just how cheap they were. Last night, they were coming back from dinner, and my brother-in-law skidded on some ice and crashed into someone's brand new pickup and banked off of it into their RV parked in their driveway. There's damage to all 3 vehicles. He's crying about how much he hates winter in the text, and I couldn't help but let him know sometimes karma takes a while. But in this case, you were bumped to the front of the line, and rightfully so. This started a huge debate about what should be the correct price for that labor, and I said I'm not sure the answer, but it's a hell of a lot more than $30 total. It wasn't some easy 3-inch puffy snowstorm. It was say 26 of heavy, wet snow to move. $150, $200, $300. Feel bad for the guy that had his rig damaged though. Couldn't give a damn about BIL. Go find those kids and slap some more cash in each of their hands. No doubt in the future he'll be /ching that kids just don't want to work anymore, wonder why. Hopefully karma will stop those kids come by his house, and he can get his lazy ass out there and shovel his own shit, cheap bastard. The kids will still work, but not for him. They won't waste a day's labor on him again, when they could use that time working for people who pay them fairly. I hope he likes shoveling. He's about to be doing a lot more of it. My driveway is half as long and single car. To have it plowed is $50. Usually I do it myself, but if I paid a kid to do it, it would be more than $10. I got my coworker fired, and I don't feel bad one bit. I've been holding this in for months, and I can't really tell anyone in my actual life, because I know how it would sound. There was this person at my job, I'll call him Mark. Everyone loved him. He was funny, loud, always joking around, always volunteering to help. Managers thought he was amazing. Customers liked him. He was one of those people who walks into a room and somehow owns it. But he made my life miserable. It started small, so I convinced myself I was overreacting. Little comments about what I was wearing, bold choice today. Or he'd laugh if I messed up something minor and say, "It's okay, you're still learning," even though I'd been there longer than him. He would tell customers I was new. I wasn't. I trained him. In meetings, if I said something, he'd interrupt and basically repeat it louder, like it was his idea, and then people would nod at him. I'd finish a project, and somehow he'd end up presenting it. He was subtle about it, just enough that if I complained I'd look insecure or dramatic. The thing that really got to me was overhearing him tell someone I was emotionally unstable and probably not cut out for this field. I was literally in the hallway behind him. He didn't know I could hear. I went home that night and just sat there thinking about it over and over. After that I started documenting everything. I felt crazy doing it. I had a running note in my phone with dates and times, screenshots of emails, examples of him taking credit for my work. One time he accidentally CC'd me in an email where he was trashing me to someone else. He called me fragile and said I needed babysitting. I saved that too. I kept telling myself I'd never actually use it. I just wanted proof in case things got worse. Then HR sent out one of those anonymous workplace culture surveys, and instead of writing something vague like some team dynamics could improve, I attached receipts. I listed specific quotes. I attached screenshots. I named witnesses. I basically handed them a case file. A couple weeks later HR called me in, and I thought I was going to throw up. But apparently I wasn't the only one who had said something because they'd had similar concerns. About a month later he was gone. Officially it was conduct and performance issues. He didn't get some big send-off. He just stopped showing up, and his desk was cleared out by the end of the week. When I saw his empty desk, I felt this wave of relief. Not guilt. Not sadness. Relief. Like I could finally breathe at work without waiting for the next comment or joke at my expense. And that's the part one can't really say out loud. I don't feel bad. Sometimes I think about the fact that he lost his job, and that affects rent, bills, everything. And I wonder if I ruined someone's livelihood because I couldn't handle being teased. Maybe he was immature. Maybe things would have changed. But then I remember how small he made me feel every single day, and how careful he was to do it in a way that made me look unreasonable if I spoke up. I didn't lie. I didn't exaggerate. I just stopped protecting him. And honestly, I'd probably do it again, LOL. He didn't lose his job because of you. He lost his job because of his behavior. Don't feel sad for him or his situation. Be happy for yourself that you don't need to think about him or his outrageous behavior. Apparently people didn't like him as much as he thought. You shouldn't feel bad. He got himself fired. Others complained about him as well. I can't say I've had the guts to do what you have, but I left my job due to similar reasons. You should be incredibly proud of yourself for standing up to a workplace bully. I hate my skin, and it stole my youth. When I was in 6th grade, my face suddenly got really bad. Acne, folliculitis, everything hit at once. My whole face changed in such a short time. Every time I looked in the mirror, I felt disgusted with myself. I used to be outgoing, but after that, I slowly stopped talking to people. By middle school, my face was covered in blackheads and dead skin. My pores looked huge, and my face was constantly itchy. I scratched without even realizing it, and ended up with scars and red marks everywhere. Other kids had clear skin, and I became painfully aware of how different I looked. I tried every skin clinic, and it only helped for a little while. Even avoiding wheat and dairy didn't stop it from coming back. No matter what I did, it felt like my face was always against me. I don't even remember exactly when it got that bad. It just did. I hated people looking at me, so I started walking with my head down all the time. I still catch myself doing it sometimes. My posture got so bad that my neck still hurts now. Back then, I genuinely hated myself. Now I'm 22. My skin still hasn't improved much. Sometimes it feels like my life just paused while everyone else kept moving forward. I feel like I lost my youth. Sometimes I wonder, if my skin had been normal like everyone else's, would I be living a normal life right now? I honestly don't know. People who don't struggle with acne have no clue how lucky they are. I'm so sorry this shit has happened to you. I hope you can get down to the root cause of this and find some relief. BTW, the people who treat you as if you're less valuable because of your acne are dickheads. Relatable. I've dealt with skin issues since I was 11, and to be honest, it's the main reason of my low self-esteem.